Peace, family. So, spiritual lesson is the trauma, part 2. Right?
Somebody asked a question.
Oh.
You said Willie Williams is your dad's name, and he's a Scorpio? Well, that's crazy. I literally just channeled that exact energy. Sage Jack asked, does she come with the chain? Definitely. Yep. Chain included. You want her? Okay, go ahead.
Spiritual lesson is about trauma, part 2. I can't remember exactly what I said about trauma yesterday, but I do know what I'm going to talk about today, though. Is the difference between masculine trauma and feminine trauma. Because right now in the spiritual society or community, we are getting it confused about how we're supposed to deal with trauma. We're trying to make it cookie cutter. We're saying, okay, this is trauma, you go through it, and now this is how you're supposed to heal from it. By getting to the root of the problem or finding out what it is and then accepting it or blah, 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 something like that, right? Which is not necessarily all that you do, but the masculine and the feminine are definitely not going to do it in the same way. The feminine is supposed to deal with trauma by essentially healing from it, finding it, digging it up, facing it, and kind of rewriting it. We see this naturally because when women, let's say they've had a very promiscuous past and then they become a born-again virgin, right? That is how, in a sense, the feminine heals, by rewriting the past. But when it comes to that's the feminine. For the masculine, though, how we're supposed to heal from trauma is by building on top of it. You build on top of the trauma. You use it as the foundation to your kingdom. You build on top of it by first pushing past it, pushing through it. That's step 1, by continuing on even when you have the trauma. Then the step 2 is later, which is to that's where the forgiveness part comes later. Then you forgive. But first you have to push past it. Saying that I won't let it weaken me. In fact, I'll use it as motivation to get stronger. Use it as motivation to get stronger. That's the masculine. Motivation to get stronger. Then later you use it. You find a way to forgive it to a certain extent. Right? But for the feminine, it's about learning how to rewrite those past traumas. The feminine has to rewrite it, has to see it in a different light, has to, in a sense, almost forget it. And in some sense, actually forget it. We've had tribes that will put you in a state so that you could forget the trauma. In fact, psychiatrists do that today. They'll take young children, especially girls. They'll take young children who've been through very traumatic situations, put them through a hypnosis so that they can forget. And the feminine loves to forget anyway. So it's easy. It's easier for them. The masculine is the one that has the trouble. Even if it forgets, it's still like something in the back saying, there's something back there that we we went through or something, you know, that we never like, you know, that we try to forget or face. So the masculine eventually does have to face it. The feminine, on the other hand, in a sense, you want to rewrite it, suppress it, and you want to heal as much as you can from it. But it's a scar. It's always going to be a scar. That's what a lot of people don't understand. It will always forever be a scar. But how the masculine versus the feminine deals with the scar is, you know, the feminine kind of rewrites it, has to rewrite it and write over it, while the masculine builds on top of it. And that's the spiritual lesson of the day.